morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in your now moment. Today is the 2021 12/21 solstice. So I thought I would do a little mini free workshop and a little reading and meditation that I was going to do online because things got messed around this year. I haven't done it the same way, but so if you'd like to spend the next half an hour just letting go, we'll do some burning, we'll do some reading, and we'll do some connecting. So just to start, just to open our ceremony and this little mini workshop up, if you just want to put your hands on your heart, if you're joining me, if you feel called to do so, our attention always goes to our heart when we put them there, and just take a couple of breaths to centre ourselves. I do that with my Qigong movement of centering, so moving my right arm out to the side, bringing it down down the nose, and doing the same, and then lowering those hands so they are over your stomach, and doing the same, just centering ourselves, calling in any energies, any beliefs that we have, tuning to this moment. Just spending a few seconds, breath, to calm your thoughts, just being aware of what you're feeling and allowing that. I'd like to just spend a moment, actually ask you to just sit quietly for the next few moments. The sun has just set here, not long in the UK, but depending on when you're viewing this, the sun will be setting where we are in different parts of the world, so it doesn't matter. This will be a container for today and for this time of year, for the ending of one year and the beginning of another. As of today, the light will start to get more, our days will start to get longer, but this time of year, and in particular today, I really wanted to spend some time and share with you a process that I do with burning. Hopefully you can see me, it's a little bit dark in here. I'll need to light this candle to have focus. It's too near. Okay, you can see. It needs to be about there so you can see it. Okay. I'm lighting. As I lit the candle, I lit that with an intention, because this time of year is like the darkest point, the shortest days. The ancients would use this time to sort of celebrate the coming of the light. From now on, the sun starts to come close, longer. So she says, the days get longer. So this would have been the darkest of times. And in ancient times, at night when it was dark, that was the time that was the scariest, that was the time that was darkest, that was when things could eat us, literally, quite literally. So this was a time that we would come together and we would remember, and lights are very important. You will see light festivals right up until February, celebrating the returning of the light, the returning of the sun. So in terms of psychology and what that means for us and what we may have within our ancestral roots and what we celebrate and how I particularly celebrate today, is just remembering and honouring that time. So I woke this morning and I took some time for me to meditate, to chant, to give thanks, but also to give thanks for nature. The fact that everything is sort of sleeping, everything's resetting, and as I said, not just from today, you have New Year's will have the same type of thing. The winter months in the northern hemisphere, we're kind of hunkering down, we reflect, and that's what I'd like to do a little bit today with a bit of journaling and reflection. So if you've got a pen and paper to hand, don't worry if you haven't, this live, you can actually pause the live and the recording will be up on my channel. So if for some reason it stops and you can't hear me or for anything, you can see that there. But if you do have a candle as well, to maybe light a candle with an intention, so of thinking about the light, the coming light, and what kind of light you want to bring into your life, the energy of the light that we are made from. And if you look at this beautiful candle that I have in front of me, it really elegantly and simply demonstrates how we are, and the magic, my kids call this magic, but this is all how I explain to them about transferring of energy. The flame doesn't, the candle itself doesn't disappear, it turns into the energy of the flame, just as we do when we transition, just as the world around us is transitioning, the leaves are falling from the trees, and that's kind of creating that nutrients that goes into the ground and then replenishes the roots of the tree, and then allows us, the tree, to then suck that energy back up. So you think of that, that's why the tree is a beautiful representation of life in general. It's the perfect, it takes in light and then it grows, it has its seeds and all of the shedding of the leaves. It's a perfect cycle. So thinking about this cycle and the cycles of our own lives at the moment with what's going on in the world, in your life, I'd like you to make some notes. Is there something that you can look back over the past year and think about what you have learned? What lessons have you learned? What nutrients have you had come to you in your life at the moment? Lessons, clarities from the full moon that we've just had, or over the past year. I certainly have learned lots. I've been growing my business for personally allowing and working on patterns and beliefs that I wanted to let go of. I've been aware of patterns that were there before that I've shifted, and though we are in Venus retrograde as of the 19th to the 29th of January, and there's some other astrology alignments. I won't go too deeply into that. I'll save that for the astrologers. I will share some of my favourites on my page over on Facebook, or some links on Instagram. However, what that means is, again, this is looking back, this reflective nature. I myself was detoxing, and if you can hear, one of the reasons that I didn't do the ceremony in the traditional way this year, and I wanted to do it live and free for people, was as you can hear, I'm cleansing, my body's cleansing. I've been fasting, I've been having teas to allow my body to expel those things, just like the trees when they're expelling their leaves. When we get sick, it's that time of having to go within, to take time for us. So today will be very gentle for that reason, and some healing Reiki maybe at the end of the meditation. So in your book, I haven't done a like I would done if we'd been doing the normal workshop. I haven't created a download for you. So if you could just grab a pen and paper, just make notes on what you've learned this year. Reflect back, and maybe take that piece of paper and make it into two, because one of them we're going to burn. We're just going to remember the light and set intention for the new year. But also, what do we need to let go, and what do we want to say goodbye to? Maybe it's behaviours, maybe it's loved ones that have passed this year, just to remember them at this time of year, this season in particular. It's hard for some people remembering loved ones. So with the candle lit right now in a sense of sacred ritual, remembering those that we love, those that have transitioned, like the candle, becoming the flame, becoming the energy, a different form. Energy doesn't dissolve, it transforms. If you think of water is a beautiful example of this. It can be steam, it can be ice, it can be water, it can be fluid, it can be different things. Us too. Our energy, just like the candle, can become from the wax to the flame. The energy can shift. So if there's anyone that you feel has transferred their energy into a different form this year, to remember them fondly in this moment, and thinking about good times and joys of that person and that life. If there's experiences that you've experienced that you're grateful for from this year that's just passed, make notes of those, thinking fondly of the things that you've done. And then on the opposite side of the paper, the things that you maybe want to forget, you want to let go of, as I said, that you want to say goodbye, and to write that down on a piece of paper. It doesn't need to be big. Let me show you. Just a little journal. Just take one out here for to write down on one side. So if you have got a piece of paper that you don't mind burning, if you wanted to get a separate, if you're not wanting to rip one out of your journal, the things that you'd like to let go of. And have a moment to do that. You can always pause the video if you need longer. I'm just going to write some notes. I've just did some symbols there for loved ones lost, loved ones past, and transition. Thank you for the experiences I've had this past year, clients, time with friends, all the messages that I've been given, all the visions. And you may want to continue. So it's entirely up to you. You don't need to burn it. For me, it's just a symbology of being thankful for this cycle that's just ended, as we're about to start tomorrow a new cycle, right up to as the lights and the days get brighter, to seeing in our visualization when we do the meditation, that light being new things, new ideas, new clarities that have been seeded from perhaps the things that we wanted to let go of, the things that we've let go of from this past year. It may be that we have memories of loved ones, for example, of letting go of someone rather than a something, or a pattern and a cycle that we're letting go of, a time ending. And maybe that's seeding new intentions. We've learned the lessons from that we actually want to allow ourselves to now, from our reflections, maybe today, maybe over the next few weeks and into the new year, and if you join me for my new moon vision board workshop, we can set that in a much more clearer intention and inspired action way. But having this time to set that intention, to allow the light to come in, to kind of surrendering that intention to the universe, depending on your thoughts and your beliefs, to the divine purpose. And then if there's any patterns that you're aware of, any clarities that perhaps came up for you with the full moon, that you really want to shift, to totally surrender to note those down on the piece of paper that you're going to burn. And if there's something, for example, a lack mentality, or lack of abundance, and you want to then affirm, I am now understanding, I am now clear, I am presence, worthy, I value myself, I am open and receptive to all the good, to note that down. Thanking the earth for this time of reflection, for this time to go within, to allow ourselves. Now, I have a bowl here, so if you haven't got a fireproof bowl, I suggest you either do this over a sink, you can do this later, and when I do this now I will be doing it for you too, if you don't want to, or if you want to go outside and do this, which is what I normally do. And then the ashes, I think it's the stick, you must put those onto the garden and make sure you dispose of them outside of the house. So I'm just going to light this beautiful nose. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Right, actually, they're the things that we are intentionally burning. Take the smoke detectors off. I'm just going to open this window, that's great. Allow the smoke to go out. And the air, so it circulates before I will take the ashes down later. So if you've still got a sheet of paper and you've still got some space, think about, in reference to what you've just let go of, and now there may be, you may need time for that to sink in. The lessons and the growth and the things that we're grateful for. So if it's someone we've lost, then possibly it's the time that we got to spend with them and how we felt and what they meant to us, and give thanks for that. I haven't been, it's holding hands on my heart at the same time. If it is a situation that's changed, maybe you've changed jobs, maybe you've moved. Out the way. Maybe it's all of the changes that we have had going on. We've had time to reflect, to go within, to be grateful that things are over, to be grateful for all of the lessons that we had. In the past 2 years have been quite a lot for a lot of people. And now I'm going to pull some cards. I'm going to do a little mini reading while you maybe spend some time reflecting. For those that view this video, this is for you in the now moment. I'm using 2 packs here, my favourites, for this purposes of today. You won't be able to, I'll have to lift them up. The Ancestors and Angels Oracle cards from Carl Gray, and the Keepers of the Light. So, asking, what do we need to know today? What do those that view this need to know for this solstice? Wisdom from our ancestors, from our DNA path, and coding our hidden guides, animal spirits and guides from our own genetic wisdom. The first card I picked is Winter. Take care of your needs. I'm going to read you what the book says, and I'll tell you what my thoughts are. That's obviously very, on a personal note, that really rings true for me. But also, we are winter. We're right in smack in the winter. Do everything you need to do. Do everything you need to be at your best. Then move beyond your fears and limitations and take care of your needs. For many of the animals' realms, winter is a time of hibernation and retreat. You may wish to curl up in a ball too, but although you may not feel as bright as you'd like to be, a primal force within is encouraging you to continue. The winter card features a wolf, one of few animals that stay active all year round. Wolves know what it's like to work alone or thrive within a pack. So, if you feel you need to go it alone at this time, know that wolf medicine will help you move beyond your insecurities and relax in your own space. So having that time to reflect within, to go within, even be within, being warm and cozy inside, but also still doing stuff, still having the energy. Whether you are at home on your own, whether you're doing that stuff at home or whether you're doing that in a group, and what I'm feeling that means is, regardless of whether you can do that or not, this is the time to hold that space and know that the wolf medicine will help you to move beyond any insecurities, any worries, and relax in your own space, to feeling good in your own skin. So that wolf, you think wolves are quite, they've got that natural look beautiful and kind of have that natural ability to kind of wildness as well. You have an opportunity to move beyond your fears. They're fearless, aren't they? Although you may feel in the dark. Get comfortable with being in the unknown and trust that the light within you will sustain you through what may seem a challenging process. Ask yourself what you need to do to feel supported and alive. You may uncover something from your past that you have buried deep. Know that when you unearth it and shed light on it, you create space for miracles. You may feel like a lone wolf right now, but it's time for you to be the alpha. So leader, look to being the one that leads rather than follows. When the winter card arrives in a future position, it's spread as the last card is a reading. It can also indicate coming winter will usher in important energies with regards to your questioning intentions. Well, I don't think that matters here. However, what I feel this is reflecting from is that for some, especially this time of year, is a challenging time, and the process. It's saying that we're still in this time of uncertainties. It's still fears and alarms type energy of not knowing, but it's asking you to remember that something from your past actually that you may have buried deep, something that you're maybe is pushed back down, may suddenly come up right now, and actually this will create space and miracles. You may feel like the lone wolf, so you may feel lonely right now, but it's time for you to be the out and be the leader, to take steps to not only go with what others say, but go with what your gut, your instincts, wolves naturally instincts, all animals have got that instincts, so follow your instincts and your gut and lead as opposed to going with the flow. It's the opposite of that. Heart Guardian, love and let yourself be loved. Beautiful wings and an open heart. I really feel myself and others that I've spoken to that right now, so this is quite apt, we all need to be opening up our heart. So I would suggest around this time, maybe today, maybe with this ceremony before, if you have it. If you don't, that's fine, you don't have to. But cacao, maybe performing a cacao ceremony. This is something that you can do at home. If you've got ritual cacao, make sure it's well, I'd say sustainable, but that would be my take when you're buying. Be aware of ethics, but you can make that at home. It's very heart opening. It's something you can have daily. I quite often around this time will have that as my daily drink in the morning before I start my day. But you can have it and you have more chocolate, the cacao made with water, and that'll help open up the heart. But there's other stuff, think of colours and greens, crystals that you can use to open the heart. They're all things can help with that. But love and let yourself be loved, allowing yourself to be loved at this time, to be looked after. So maybe you're the one that's always doing the looking after. Allow others to look after you right now. Welcome with open arms, opportunities to give and receive love. So that season of giving but also receiving fits in perfectly with the Heart Guardian. The Heart Guardian is an angelic energy that can help you call for protection and guidance with all issues surrounding the heart. So whether you're thinking of matters of the heart with love, matters of the heart with how we feel about ourselves and self-love, all matters of the heart. This is essentially the angel who helps you with all relationship, whether they be with yourself, family, or even a romantic connection. She can enable you to move beyond any limitations, fears about trust, discern whom to trust, and understand how you can move forward in a balanced relationship with that person. In this card, she is adored with a sacred heart and draped in a red cloak to show her capacity to let love lead the way. Heart-led, heart intention. I'm always talking as a Heart Math ambassador about heart coherence, that brain-heart coherence. So making decisions from the heart. Emotions, because that's the energy emotion that's sort of down here. The heart is that instinct. So when you are in that heart space, and to go there, all you need to do is, we do it now, we did it at the beginning, just putting your hands over your heart, because then that brain waves are taking you to that part of you with these portals, which are our hands, and just breathing in. It's the feeling and that heart emotion. Heart centered, also in Qigong, to center. You can do that with the arms coming down over the heart, and the same with both sides. They want you to know who. Let's angel. So you are love, lovable and loving. The energy of love is surrounding your whole world at this time. Angels are swirling around you, encouraging you to open your heart and receive the blessings that you have to offer. They want you to know that you are a highly loving being who deserves to give and receive love. It's important to know to do both. We all need reminding of that at times. If you are finding it challenging to feel love at this time, it's important for you to give yourself credit where it's due. You are also encouraged to welcome support from others, learn to receive, don't try and do everything on your own. If you are working on a relationship or are in a new relationship, this card can usher in energies that allow you to focus a powerful connection with your partner. Love is in the air. Now we're in Venus retrograde as well, so this is the time when exes may come back on the scene. It's a time to go over issues in our relationship. They might be coming up, but it's a good time for that to happen, because it allows us to work on these issues and see where we may have once been. So remembering back, maybe back to February last year, what was your intentions at the beginning of this year when we were reflecting? Were there any around that time in your relationships? I know I had some, to spend more time with mine and to have more balance, and that's definitely happened and manifested. So that's something to be grateful for. So allowing that sort of energy of all relationships, not just the loving relationships, but families and friendships, and how we cultivate those, and how we are, whether we're giving and receiving, and how balanced they are. So I'm going to pull one more from this pack. Mirror guarding. Again, mirror guarding, take time to reflect. So you see she's got that beautiful mirror in that image there. It's reflecting the galaxy. And the galaxy that is you, that's within you. You are a reflection, a perfect reflection of everything around you, and that which is around you is a perfect reflection of you. We are light. If you think about the light and a mirror, a reflection, how things reflect back at us, well, when you think of the mirror, the relationships and the things that are around us will reflect back. So what we put out, our expectations, our intentions, are what reflect back. So if there's someone in your life that triggers you, ask yourself, how are your thoughts and your beliefs around, and your stories regarding that relationship? Do you have expectations of that person, and always being a certain way, for example? Try to, in that awareness, if you start to become aware of that, maybe if you want it to reflect back differently, asking yourself, what is it that triggers you about them? Why are you triggered about that person? How are you with them, and you'll see that there's some patterns. It may be that you always have an expectation that, as I say, this person is a certain way. As we can reflect, the universe will reflect back what we need to know. Where's Spirit Guardian gone? I will read you the rest of the card. Okay, Mirror Guardian. Oh, what's it done there? Oh, it's still there. Take some time to reflect on your strengths and challenges and how far you've come. As I was saying in the beginning, it is mirroring what I was mentioning. How far have you come? What and who were you at the beginning of this year? Is it a very different person, possibly? Take some time to reflect on your strengths and challenges and how far you've come. Recognise those gifts. What are the gifts that you have? We often are very, very quick to write down the things that we want to change about ourselves, the things that we need to shift, but we don't often find it easy to write the things that we're good at. So spend some time thinking about what am I good at? What am I able to, and what have I learned and now able to do that I perhaps couldn't do before? Angels accept you just the way you are. The angelic energetics, or the 7th and 9th dimensions, they are accepting of, and the divine is accepting of who we are. We are love. We are a reflection of that. We are kind of that light that is the divine manifest in small form, in the cellular, within the cells, that lights up in all of those cells, that light that is part of the cosmos, part of the galaxy. And the angels accept you just the way you are. Even when you are going through challenging times, they still hold you in the highest esteem. So they still see the highest aspect of you. They hold that energy of the perfect, most, as I always say, the most authentic you, the authentic me, your higher self, you might call it, your multidimensional self, is at that higher frequency, always holding, always there for you to align with. And the more you align with that, the more that rises, the more that you can align with that. So the mirror guardian, a female angel looking into a mirror. So you, as I said in the card, she's looking into that reflection of life, invites you to witness your spiritual strengths and beauty, to set yourself as angels do. So that's being the best you, raising your frequency to become that higher you, to stepping into that multi-dimensional, 5th dimensional we talk about you. There isn't a place that becomes 5D. We are 5D by our perspective, by our choices, by raising our frequency in love, in compassion, and holding that space. And when we make mistakes, when we do stuff, not judging ourselves, but holding a high esteem, not just for others and seeing the love and that side and that light within them reflecting, but also in ourselves. So the mirror represents the fact that your core beliefs and ideas are in fact what is reflected back to you by the world. Your life is one big mirror of how you feel within, and Mirror Guardian helps you recognize that. When this card appears, you are being invited to take some time to see where you are right now, which is what I've been saying to you from the beginning of this workshop. Everything in our life is a reflection of our focus. Where our focus goes, our energy flows. That's what will be created. That's what will be manifested. That's the reality that will manifest around us. So if you spend your time worrying, fearful, feeling like the world is woe and you a victim mentality, then situations in your life will arise for that to play out, because the universe creates that which we expect. It's not about what we want so much, it's about we're given what we need, and sometimes we need to see the patterns, so they have to play out for us to realise that they're there. So that's when situations will start. You'll see these repeat things happening, and you might have repeat relationships, and it might be that you're always, say, looking for the wrong guy and the heart, and maybe because you're not open-hearted, closed, so therefore you'll reflect, you'll get people that are closed and that aren't ready to open, so that same issue will arise. So if it's wellness, if it's abundance, if you're always looking at lack, always worrying about money, it's kind of the universe, when we say ask and it's given, will see what we feel, the emotions that we're feeling. So it's not necessarily about paying lip service to stuff and going through the motions, it's about actually how you're feeling. And to shift that, you need to become aware of it, so then you can start to say, well, actually I can let that go, which is what we were doing with the burning. And allowing yourself to rise in a law of increments, so that it help you recognise what the card appears. You are being invited to take some time and reflect on this now. So even if you want to do this right now, in this now moment, to pause and do that, I will continue. You are a beautiful being who has summoned so many challenges, surmounted challenges, and expanded in so many ways. Your angels are now guiding you to take inventory of your life, to take time to note all of the recent experiences and challenges. So write down what you've been through and the challenges, and then put what were the reflections of your learnings from each of those. What did you learn from going through that? For example, lockdown for lots of people, they realised that they don't need to do or go as many places. They realised how much important time with people were, social interactions with people, and the little details of relationships that we maybe have took for granted before. Having creature comforts, but spending time with family when we want to, and not taking that for granted, especially this time of year. I believe that people are definitely much more in line with this than they were last year. And the time with ourselves, physical touch, I think it doesn't necessarily get talked about because it's frowned on so much now, is a reminder of how important it is for us to have that touch and feel and comfort and hugging, and to be tactile in our contact with others is a really important aspect of a human relationship and should not be neglected. And if you allow fear to stop that, then that kind of interferes with how we are as humans. We're mammals, we need that. So the strengths, particularly those aspects of yourself that you feel have not been acknowledged. So what lessons have you learned? You want to reflect on the strengths, particularly the aspects of yourself you feel you haven't acknowledged by others, or maybe you feel that you're not being acknowledged or by others. Often your self-approval where it's due, and know that when you give yourself credit, others will be able to as well. Sometimes we feel like it was talking about being acknowledged for things, but that may be because we feel that we are not deserving, we're not worthy. It's that valuing ourselves and self-worth, the self-love, the taking care of our own needs and having that self-care. So that's something that's a beautiful message for those three, and I'll hold those up again. I'll pop those up on social media as well, just for you, if you're just joining me. It's beautiful to take in those images. That's the messages from our ancestors, our wisdom on this beautiful solstice. And this time of the shifting in the wheel. Now moving on to maybe some higher energies. Calling in the more galactic sense, the starseed energy, the bigger cycles as the sun starts to return and the light. This is a beautiful time right now. Lots of what they call portal energy around, where people are downloading their divine inspiration. They're being guided, however you choose to reflect that. Their multi-dimensional self, multi-dimensional beings that we are. The higher aspects of you that's at a different frequency is just a different speed and frequency. Thank you for your guidance. Ceres Bay is ascension. Move into your true self. Rise above the darkness. The light is here. We're coming out of the darkness. The light is now coming. We're moving astrologically into a much better year. So as the three-dimensional world may look like it's quite dark and scary and maybe a little bit fearful, it's saying to move to your true self. Your true self is that ascension, and it's not about rising and going up. It's rising in frequency, in speed, in feeling, in emotion, in tapping into and stepping into that ascension being. What ascension means is that you step into that higher dimensional self, the person that you feel, that gut instinct, the insights come from when you are in alignment with your true self. This is what Ceres Bay represents. You see the balance as well. I mean, the cobras is the kundalini rising, and the sun he has here is that, like the central suns of the cosmos, that type of higher galactic energy, and tuning into that awareness and presence of that being that we are going through an ascension right now on the earth. Just literally skipped that page. There we go. So Ceres Bay is a light keeper in charge of ascension. He once served as a priest in Luxor, Egypt, helping those passing on to cross over into the light. Now he is a presence we can call upon in order to ascend. Ascension means rising up. It reminds us of the sun, a story of Christ. So the Christic energy. But Christic energy is Christ energy, or Christed energy is embodiment. It's stepping into your true power, that self-sovereign power, being an awareness of that we are all the creator. We have the creator within us. That light is part of us. We can embody those aspects. Christ is being resurrected after death. This means that Ceres Bay can guide us from the lowest state, which we're just in the darkest of times, which we've got going on at the moment, and we're being guided to go back to the light. His energy is almost like that of a phoenix, giving us the support to move out of our hell or darkness into a space that supports our growth. We're coming out of the dark. So although things may look like they're dark, we're actually coming out of that. Where what will be happening is creating and sparking new seeding of a new generation's new ways of being, new ideas in your life and on the earth is happening at the moment. So I kept having visions, and if you have seen any of the IGT videos, there's one I've recorded with regarding the visions that they were giving me, message of the seismic activity and volcanoes, and that's that eruptive regeneration. So when you think of a volcano, although we think of it as quite violent and fire itself is quite replenishing, because when charcoal, carbon, it for growth, for the land, for the earth, it replenishes and you get real fertile land. So again, it's mirroring what I was saying about the trees shedding the leaves and then seeding from that growth from where we've been, from the dark. And you think of a seed that's in the dark, and it comes up and it goes to the light. It goes to those lighter energies, those lighter frequencies. Chaos into the space that supports our growth. So moving out of dark times into lighter, better times. The stars cannot shine without darkness. So in the darkest of times, the light shines the brightest. You see when it is most dark where the light is. So you look around and you can see those bright sides. So being the light, I've got on my board up there, it's to be the light within, to reflect from that light within and shine outwards. So in fact, there's on one of the meditation Mondays last week, I think it was, the meditation is about you doing that, you embodying that light. So the storm can rage around you with what's going on out there, but in here, in your heart, in here, which sparks to inspire to hear, and when we're in that, embodying that light, we shine. Everything else kind of bounces off you. The stars cannot shine without the darkness. You may have experienced a low state of being, trauma in your life, or depression even. But this is a new beginning, becoming aware of growth. There is always room for improvement. There's also a sense of presentation now. You may be receiving documentation or certification. So we're coming to that end, and acknowledging the growth of experience, what we've learned, all of the things we've learned over the last year. You may have been doing training and you're getting your certification, she says in the right way. Acknowledging that growth and the experience that you've had and how we can use that. It's important to cherish this time and to realise that without the challenges of obstacles you have faced, you wouldn't be as strong, powerful or focused as you are today. You are ascending personally and spiritually at this time, and the universe is here to support you. The universe is this beautiful, expansive supportiveness, even sometimes like a mama bear, when it's calling and asking you to be strong, it's still saying this is a good thing, that this stuff is happening, but it's a good thing. What all these shifts, these changes will be for the better. Master Jesus, forgiveness. So you're on the path of light, love and forgiveness. Father, healing is possible at this time. More healing. Obviously, I'm doing my own healing as well. But the Christic energy, as I was saying, that Christed energy, think of crystals when you think of this, because it's a crystal. Is when it's under pressure, it creates this pure diamonds. So all from this dark at times will come this beautiful diamond society, in a sense, with the Christic energy, and that needing to forgive, to let go, let bygones be bygones. So what has been done in the past, for what generations have done previous, to move beyond, to learn from, rather than to be out for blood, so to speak, but to let go, to forgive, to have compassion for those that have a heart, open heart, and compassion for the differences, instead of the decisiveness that's been going on, to understanding each other, to letting ourselves have that forgiveness in our heart for what has been. A man who needs no introduction. Through both the Gospels and the Gnostic Gospels, we have come to know Jesus as a great teacher, loving guide, and generous soul who accepts us all. Although he is the focal point of Christianity, he will respond to anyone who reaches out to him. He helps us overcome sacrificial love. When we have to leave behind something in order to get the love we want. So in order to let the love in, sometimes we have to let go of what maybe we thought love was, or those things that we may have been our expectations of things. He is also the light keeper we call on for support with forgiveness. He reminds us that our connection to love is the most important connection we will ever create. His twin flame is Mary Magdalene. Forgiveness is an act of self-love. So anger, revenge, all those kind of energies, they hurt us. Whether they're justified or not, it doesn't mean that you condone. If someone's done something to you and they've hurt you, be it in love or in injustices in the world, I'm thinking, it doesn't mean that you are condoning it. What it means is you're not allowing that energy to lower your frequency into the denser energies and emotions that will affect you and affect the light within your body, which then can create dis-ease and disharmony within the light and those cells, which creates disease. So by letting that go, it's a really powerful thing to forgive. It doesn't mean we forget. It means we surrender that to the divine. We let go, because causing reflections that sometimes what's reflecting back situations doesn't always mean that it might have been a pattern that we're being shown to show up. So we can let go, we can move past that. And forgiveness is an act of self-love. You are being encouraged to know that whatever you have done to yourself or others, the divine is not condemning you. So even if you've done something and you're feeling bad, or you wished you hadn't done, the divine loves regardless. You don't have to forgive what has happened, but you no longer need to allow your whole story to be defined by a situation that doesn't support your happiness. Jesus is here to bring miraculous shifts of healing to you and all those around you, and to release you from the burdens of self-loathing. He wants you to know that he sees the child of God within you. The kingdom of heaven is within you. The divine cosmos light is within you. You are light. You are a divine, magnificent being of light. Every single living, sentient being is. So all those around you, to release you from the burdens of self-loathing, he wants you to know that it's a child of God within you. He also brings clarity and healing to you. Any one situation concerning your Father, either on earth or in heaven. So we think of Father Sky and the Mother Earth, the masculine and the feminine. So those masculine aspects of ourself, if there is clarity and healing that needs to come to have that balance back and that shifting back between the two, or if there's any situation with your actual father concerning fathers, and clarity and healing situations concerning dads and our father figures. But that can be the male in our life, the masculine energy that's dominant. It doesn't have to be a blood father, it can be a father figure to you in your life, or male energy that's concerning. This can help with healing with that. And Mother Mary, love and peace. Let go of the need to be right. Choose peace. Mother healing is possible at this time. So it's not about being right. It's about love and peace, and having peace and holding love and peace in your heart. So let's read. I love the energy of Mother Mary. She has this divine feminine energy also that's related. Mary, the mother of Jesus, is one of the best loved saints, masters and guides of the world. Although she has had a huge part to play in the Catholic faith, she can bring faith, peace and love to anyone who calls on her. She is the saint of the people. She works directly with the angels of peace to bring healing to the world, particularly where there is conflict, and is dedicated to supporting children and mothers. She is the spiritual embodiment of unconditional love and acceptance. It's accepting yourself, loving unconditionally, both yourself and others. It is time to let go of conflict or the need to be right. The more you fight for the point you want to prove, the unhappier you will be. Pointing out the mistakes or mishaps of others just blocks the road to love in your own life. Mary, the Divine Mother, or acceptance, is with you now, encouraging you to forgive. Forgiveness is not about letting anyone get away with their bad choices, but about choosing to create your own happiness. Mother Mary also brings healing to you and your mother. So we've got the mother energy, the father energy. If you miss her, are out of contract with her, or have an old trauma, needs healing, know that Mary's miraculous light is here now to wash away the darkness. If you've lost a father, or if you've lost a mother this year, and I know lots of people have, know that they are, if you're missing her and out of that contract with her, to let go of the trauma now. Let it go. Know that as I was saying with the transferring, and I don't know why I was called to be talking about this in particular, but it's time to know that we transfer. As I said, that energy is there whenever you need it, and that mother energy, but also the earth itself, forgiving, beautiful, divine planet that we are, is that Gaia energy, that mother energy. It's got that about it, that peace and love to all goodwill for this season, those words. And obviously with Christmas, to me also these 3 cards represent what we're about to go through over the next week. We've got the ascension energy at the moment, this sort of portalish energy of the solstice, then Christmas, and forgiveness, being forgiven, and try and remember to keep that in your heart. With how people are, there's a lot of fiery energy about, and there's a shift, an astrology shift on Christmas Day around that time. So be patient with people if they are triggering, if they're being triggered. Just be forgiving in your heart. Remember love and peace, to allow that love and peace into our heart, into our world, into our reality, into our lives and our society, and our whole being and way of being. If you want to have that in your life, you need to have the forgiveness in order to rise, to go through that process. that's what I see happening. There'll be maybe some light and some stuff that we might want to get fired up about that happens on Christmas Day. I'm reminding you, and that energy of Master Jesus is reminding you to be forgiving of that, and let it go, and let that love and peace be in your heart, as opposed to the fire that you may feel, so that you can choose peace, choose love and peace, as opposed to choosing the friction and anger regarding situations that may arise around Christmas Day. So, in sending those beautiful free beings, you have another look at them again, without me setting fire to the candle there. It's good to have it that way, because it's, ooh, where is it? That one's that way. I was going to do it so that's in the middle, because that reminds me of the balance. Look, the snakes, the feminine, the masculine on the top of Ceres Bay, to rise up, to have the forgiveness and peace and love in our hearts, so that we can rise, so that we can go to the light, to ascension. For someone, it's heaven. To have this, heaven is here on earth, to experience here and now that love and peace. We must have forgiveness in our hearts for ourselves and others. So, how are we doing on time? Ascensions. I want to end with a meditation. So, allowing yourself to breathe. Bring this candle to the forefront. If you wish, just to staring into the light, remembering the light is within you at all times. Allow the music I have playing in the background is theta and the Schumann resonance of our earth, grounding us at the same time as we're connected to our third eye. Breathing in, breathing out. Letting go. I want you to close your eyes. So letting go. Allow yourself to be a healing. Allowing myself to receive healing as well as giving healing. So being hands out, open and receptive to all the good. Forgiving myself, forgiving others. Letting go of the patterns and things that do not serve me. Letting go of any angers. And being open to the light. Seeing as the sun, have a visual in your mind as the sun set today, wherever it is in your now moment. And the dark of the night envelops, and the stars in the sky, those lights. See the stars, light, reflecting from the central sun and the sun in our galaxy, in our solar system, our star, reflecting as it gets closer and the days begin to get lighter. So too we, with every cell, as we move through the time. Allow yourself to feel light reflecting in your cells, to shine, even if it may be darkness of the night or the darkness of things and challenges around you. Feel that light in your cells always present, just like the light of this candle. Transferring into light, moving back and forth with the cells, creating your emotions within the biological aspect of your body. Be reminded of that. And we're just going to sit with a short meditation today, as I've created the longer meditation last week. If you need it, to embody that light, to stand strong in that light, we give thanks for this time of reflection, for all that we've learned in this past year as we move to the next, and during this time outside of time between now and the new year. However we're celebrating, whatever we're doing in our life, wherever we are, remember that there's light within you, a candle spark within you that's always there, ever present, lighting the way during this time. Connected to the stars, the galaxies, the heavens above, the plasma light that comes from the sun that floods the earth. Accessing, coming down, imagine a light coming down through the top of your head, going down your spine to your root, going down to the ground, to the earth. And imagine it coming up, back up the spine, going right up, pouring down like warm honey, going round in a circle, recycling any energy that comes out, going down, renewing, just like the plants with shedding their leaves, down into the ground, replenishing and coming back up within you, through your spine, up through the chakras, through your heart, through your throat. Just feel that raining down, centering you in this now moment, in this space. If there's anything that you want to say out loud, that you wish in this now moment while you are in your own space that you've created, any thanks. I am thankful for this moment, for you allowing me to hold space for my higher dimensional self and those higher beings that guide me, to speak through me. Is there anything you wish to say? So, what do you need me to say? Just have a moment in stillness, just like the world is still right now. Be still in your heart for a moment, a heartbeat, remembering you are love. Gurade Namaha. Om Gurade Namaha. Om Gurade Namaha. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you. Thank you for your time, and thank you for allowing me to hold space for you. Hold hold space within your heart and remember that there's light is always there. My love and my blessings for this season, be it for the Yuletide, for the solstice, for the coming Christmas and the New Year. I will see you if you're joining me for my new moon workshop, where we can plant some new moon intentions with some neurological goal setting. But thank you for joining me today. My love and blessings.